funny how many people did not understand my first part of this series. That's what actually it was only going to be one part. I had to make a second part because the point I'm trying to make just went over so many people's heads. They missed exactly what's going on. So I'm going to reiterate, but in different with some new information. Do it a little bit differently. I did the Rubik's demonstration at the end last time. I'm going to do it up front this time. So what I have here is a pretty well scrambled cube, and we're going to put in the little our little what you call algorithm. Okay, and here's our cube, and the cube, when I picked it up and I first showed it to you, was scrambled, but not without information. It was scrambled very informationally rich. In other words, it was made, I set it up so that it would solve real quickly under that little algorithm. Now I'm going to take another cube that's been, this one, been scrambled without any information. It's not informationally rich. In fact, it's pretty much just random. Well, it is, as far as I know. I mean, it's random. But we're going to plug in the same a little algorithm there and see what happens. Okay, and there, actually I didn't do exactly the same algorithm, but it wouldn't matter. Let me do this exactly the same one. I kind of screwed up. I'm going to do the exact same one this time, because it's not going to matter. It's random. Okay, so even if I do it more than once, okay. Let's see. Here it's the exact same one now. Let's see. There we go, and then oops, here it's like this, and then it's like this. Okay, there it is. And then like that. Okay, so did it twice now, and we still have sort of a very random primordial cube. Let me try let me try it again, see what else happens, because it's kind of interesting. It looks kind of like it's coming together, but I'm sure it's not going to. All right, let's try it again here. Because I have a tendency to do the cubes when I scramble them. You have a tendency to sort of do them the same way more than once. Okay, so yeah, we're just going to keep going. I could probably just keep going forever. I mean, that would be, well, I shouldn't say probably. I mean, that's exactly what happened. I could just keep going forever with that algorithm, and the cube would never solve. Now, you know, the cube can be solved, but it has to be solved with intentional information. That you're not going to solve it randomly. And I was telling people, why don't you just put the cube in the washing machine or the dryer and let it bounce around for a while, and like this cube here, and see, you know, after a couple of hours, take it out, see if it's been solved. That would be proof of evolution, if that happened. Okay, I'm going to set this cube up again the way I had it before, and we're going to try this time. I'm going to take the intelligent cube, but this time I'm going to plug in a random. Now this time I just plug in a random, you know, whatever comes out without thinking about it in terms of the moves that I'm going to make here. So but they're similar kind of moves. And we'll do one more like that. And so there we go. You know, we're not going to get anywhere either. I could just keep doing that forever as well. Now here's the point. Now here's where we're going to come up with some extra information. And by the way, let me write this guy's name down. It's David L. Abel, because he's the guy where I'm getting this information I'm about to share with you. This graphic. All right, and he has a partner. Sometimes he writes with. I forget his partner's name, but anyways, they've been writing a lot of papers questioning, you know, exactly what are the evolutionists trying to claim, because there's an awful lot of quantum leaps in their logic and faith in these unknowns. And so these guys been questioning it. They say, you know, as far as what they claim about themselves is they're, you know, not intelligent design proponents or creationists, but these guys are so smart and so intuitive, and they have so much such a focus on honing in on truth that they've been accused of being creationists. But let me show you this. Here's a graphic now. All right, David L. Abel. Okay, algorithmic compressibility is high if there's more order and regular pattern, minimum uncertainty, minimum complexity. Okay, so that's high algorithmic compressibility. Okay, it also happens to be low complexity, right? You don't have much complexity in it. Okay, then on the other side we have here, okay, low algorithmic compressibility if you have randomness, maximum uncertainty, maximum complexity, which also happens to be high in complexity, obviously. Okay, so randomness is high complexity, but low in algorithm compressibility. Okay, on the other hand, and I'll show you an illustration I'll show you an illustration here. Most ordered pattern, minimum uncertainty, minimum complexity, right? Low complexity. So here's an example of each one. On top here, we have something would be called algorithmic compressibility very high. Okay, it's very, as you can see, it's a high compressible algorithm there. It's just very simple orders. One is back and forth. I can actually show you that on the Rubik's Cube. I can show you this on the Rubik's Cube too. This is random. But see, what random does is actually, in effect, it prevents useful information. It's almost like erasing information. It's entropy. It's taking what could be informed and disinforming it. You know. On the other hand, when you get extreme uniformity or extreme regularity like this, that doesn't really help either. Now let me show you. I actually, in a sense, I already demonstrated the randomness when I took the cube. I took both cubes. I took a random cube and tried to inform it with one of these simple, one of these highly compressible algorithms, and it didn't really inform. And then I took the informed cube and put, I think this was the informed cube, and I put a random information into it, and didn't help either. But something like this, if we had something like this, the 0, 1 would be like this. Okay, 0. Okay, 0 I wouldn't move it. 1 I would move it. 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, you see, I could do that forever. We're never going to get anywhere. The other thing would be all the ones. You'd be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. See, we're never going to get anywhere either. Now, I suppose I could try to interpret this random string. I could try to interpret that in terms of what am I going to do? How am I going to interpret that with the cube? Probably what we need more information than just zeros and ones, because we also have you have three planes, or 3 planes this way, and you have cube rotations. See, another way to do the zeros and ones would just be to rotate the cube 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, or 1, 1, 1, 1. But it doesn't tell you, to turn it this way or not. You'd have to what you'd have to do is assign certain combinations of zeros and ones to mean returning the cube, returning one of the surfaces. If so, which surface are you going to be, you're going to be turning? So you see that a random string is not going to solve the cube, and a highly compressible string, is not going to solve it either. Just go back and forth. So when it comes to biological systems, you have the same need for information to assemble, to put together an assembly of molecules, enzymes and sugars and so forth, to express something that's going to be meaningful in a larger 3-dimensional context. So, anybody who's really honest about what's going on is going to at least, like David L. Abel, is going to at least say, okay, well, what's been thrown at this thing by evolutionists in the past is not adding up. You just don't say, well, it could have happened. It might have been that this, might have been that you had something in the primordial soup, and it might have been this, and it might have been that. And then what they do, they proceed with to try to demonstrate it with some kind of experiment or some kind of computer program, where they're acting in very intentional, intelligent ways, and they're putting intellectual input, intelligent input into the experiment, into the design. They're selectively, they're selecting certain environments, they're selecting certain results, they're isolating certain results, and they're doing all these kinds of things that require an intelligent supervision. So, this is the big conundrum for the evolutionists. Now, let's suppose that you might have seen the old-fashioned music box where they have there's a band. I'll try to draw one for you real quick. On the old-fashioned music box, you have a band, like a rubber band, but it's a real wide rubber band with little prongs sticking up on it, and you'll have then a little harp, type of metal harp that very much like a African thumb harp, sort of, that the band circulates around. This is kind of not a real good illustration, but I think you get the picture. So you have the little harp up there, and you got the band. Now, of course, the harp's got to be longer than that, because it's got to be able to be plucked by those as the band with the little nubs on it rotates. It plucks the different keys on the harp. I guess the way to do the harp here, I see what I'm doing wrong. Okay, got to make the triangular that way, sort of. Okay. So anyways, so it plucks the harp, bling, 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 and it makes a melody. Okay. Now, melody is something very similar to a living system in the sense that it, especially something melodious, you have to ask why is it appealing to humans. In fact, somebody's did an experiment recently that shows that humans and birds sort of have an agreement on what's considered a more pleasing melody. But at any rate, what is it is, it doesn't seem very objective to say, okay, this is pleasing, this is not, in terms of melodies. But in terms of, okay, this enzyme's going to work and this enzyme's not going to work, that's a little bit more objective. So let's suppose that, okay, we're going to be an evolutionist. Now we want to solve the cube. What we're going to do is we're going to say that the environment is this, is like this harp. The environment you have, imagine a mountainside. Maybe I'll draw that too. Okay, so we have a mountainside with stones on it, and you're going to roll the cube down. So you got a mountainside, and you got the stones here, and one here, and one there, and one here, and one here. Just like this, you got little bumps in the mountainside. And you roll the cube down, and you can say, okay, well, the cube hits here, it hits a bump here, and it spins. Boom. Okay. And then it's going to have to turn this way. It's going to flip that way, and it's going to hit another bump, and it's going to go like that. Boom. 90 degrees. They all got to be 90 degrees. It's going to flip over through the air, turn around, and hit, boom, like that right there. And you have you're going to have a series of bumps and bangs, and by the time you get to the bottom of the hill, you're going to have the solved cube. And that's how the evolutionists are trying to picture what happens in terms of the origins of life. And so what you could say is, well, the environment, okay, is structured in such a way that, if the input is the cube, just, the effects of rolling down the hill will solve the cube, because the hill has the information. The environment has the information. Okay, the environment has the information that draws out the correct algorithm, and when you get to the bottom of the hill, you have your organized cube, your living system. So that's what they have to prove. I mean, that's what the model actually teaches in terms of abiogenesis. And that's how I visualize what they're trying to say. Now, we don't. I think if that was the case, abiogenesis would be an ongoing event. You would have to show that the constants. You'd have to show that constants of nature have changed somewhere in the past. That the strength of the charge was different, or the strength of gravity, all the different permittivity of the vacuum changed, or something had to change drastically to where it used to be in an order in such a way that it would come out spontaneous life. And that the environment, the constants changed in such a way now that can no longer be. It no longer happens spontaneously. The best you could do is go into your laboratory and put a lot of intelligent design into your molecular soup or whatever you have there that you're trying to turn into life. It had to be supervised with an intelligent intent. The intelligent intent that used to be the warp and woof of nature has disappeared. So, I mean, that's the only way to interpret abiogenesis for me. I mean, to be honest, seems to me, that what happened is there was an intelligent creator who put these things together up front in such a way that they can perpetuate indefinitely, but they wouldn't never have gotten started just through the forces of nature as we know them. So I believe that the nail in the coffin of evolution that I put in before stays there, and I just put another one in there. All the arguments I got were from people who just simply missed the whole point. I mean, they're still arguing at the very point that I had demonstrated against, that if you are going to program something to imitate abiogenesis, then you just proven my point. That's what I'm saying. Abiogenesis is programmed. So I said to one guy, I said, look, you put the cube into the washing machine or the dryer, let it tumble around, for a while, and see if it's been solved. And then, if you're going to use a computer, you have to put the computer in there in the washing machine and the dryer, and let that bounce around for a while, and plug it in and see if it spits out a program for a biological system. You can't put intelligent design in and say, okay, I just intelligently designed this program to prove that intelligent design is not necessary. You didn't. You just proved exactly that intelligent design is necessary. You got to take your computer and subject it to all kinds of random inputs. Maybe put your keyboard, put a corral around your keyboard and let a hamster walk around on it for several hours. And then you should have, then you can say, okay, well, look, hamster walked around on my keyboard for several hours. I ran the program, and, lo and behold, we got this system that duplicates biological, realities. That's what you got to do. You got to do something like that. You can't use your mind. Once you engage your intellect into the process of input, you're proving my point. So, I don't want to repeat myself anymore. See what you can do with this.